and you'll see the names, the email addresses, and the phone numbers here of our team. These are solely dedicated to Spain, and they will be able to help you with all your day-to-day activities within the renewals. So we have Maria Suarez, Carlos Aguilar, Fidel Caicedo, Vasquez, and I apologize for my pronunciation. And if we can all go on mute, thank you, Christian. Thank you. And we will be we're talking about a few things today, mainly about what the renewals team does, what we're in charge of. We'll give you a few tips and tricks on how to quote efficiently, how to manage your renewals business efficiently. We will then move on to discuss some exciting news from the renewals department. We have a cross-sell and upsell program that is currently running that has kicked off on October the 14th. And finally, we'll talk about what we call the Partner Renewals Initiative. And the Partner Renewals Initiative is about two things. It's about rewarding our top performers and holding the whole partner community accountable for their own renewals. So let's get cracking. So first things first, the renewals team is in charge of standard renewals. So anything that has to do with active and expired installed base, IB stands for installed base, and for the renewals of the enterprise license agreements. And these are what we call RELAs. Anything to do with new ELAs has to be discussed with the field sales. And this is something that Maria wanted to dearly to let you know, is that the renewal of ELAs is considered as a package. So when you, I don't know how many of you would be dealing with ELAs. It's, I guess the top resellers would. And the renewal of an ELA is considered as a package, cannot be broken, which means that you have to renew everything. You have to renew it as a package, basically. And there's no channel discount included into the ELAs or the special pricing quotes, because these are pre-signed agreements that are passed on to the channels and passed on to the customer rather. Can you please all go on mute? And we have there's no channel discount built into it, so please be aware of this. Please be aware of the fact that RELAs and ELAs do not have special discounts included into them. And we will put in a note into the CRM when we pass these quotes on to you.
Ya, te he quedado con los últimos.
Hola,
Sarah,
En el cuadro ese que te mandaron.
Sarah, can you mute all participants, please?
Yes, I will. Por favor, activad el silencio en los teléfonos, que estamos oyendo vuestras conversaciones por detrás todos.
Thank you. Okay, so how do we work? I want to give you an overview of how the renewals team and rather VMware works in terms of the renewals. To make things easier, and because we have to prioritize, we do a little bit of segmentation in the business. And what that means is that we work with anything above $25,000 and above. We have a very personalized approach. We have a detailed evaluation of the install base, and we discuss the renewal with the end user. And this normally happens 120 days prior to contract expiration. The reason we do that is because we want to make a bigger deal for everybody. So we look for 3 years. We look for increase in support from basic to production. We look to consolidate contracts. So if a customer has more than one contract, we'd like to consolidate them, uplift the support, and bring them down up to 3 years renewal. So they also get a 12% discount on their normal price. Anything below that, between the $3,000 and $25,000 in value, and that's per single contract, is done, we do a proactive requoting exercise. Our team, we have a global team of people who do these proactive quotes. The proactive quotes are uploaded into our systems 120 days prior to contract expiration, or rather between 90 and 120 days. We start quoting from top, from the highest value, then we go down to the lowest value. We will upload all these quotes into Renewal Central, and we will see what Renewal Central is in the next couple of slides. And finally, we will, and just one thing on these proactive quotes. The proactive quotes are quoted 120 days in advance. They're valid until contract expiration. So they're in Renewal Central. You can go in, you can find them, and you can quote your clients proactively. And finally, we have the sub $3,000 segment. Here, we have an initiative where the customer can purchase online, so directly with VMware. However, because we are heavily involved in, or rather, we tend to go almost 100% channel, what we do is we upload these quotes to Renewal Central for you to download. We then send out, this happens 120 days before contract expiration. We send you an email, we send the customer an email, we copy the reseller, the previous reseller, and we send them a notification out at 90 days. And all it is a reminder of the renewal. It's coming. We let you know. At 60 days prior to contract expiration, we send out an email and the quotation, and we invite the customer to renew via their previous reseller, and we send the name of the reseller. Otherwise, we send the link of the partner locator. And guys, can you please go on mute? And then the there's an online renewal option that then kicks in. So we provide a link where they can buy direct online. They don't have any discounts, so it's we incentivize them to go through the channel. So VMware Renewal Central, what is it? It's the one-stop shop for renewals. It gives you visibility into your renewal opportunities up to 120 days in advance. It gives you all your proactive quotes. It gives you all your opportunities. It gives you trending. You can see here there's trending and metrics, a dashboard where you can view all your upcoming renewals. And you can download, you can do mass downloads of your quotes, up to 750 quotes at a time. And it helps you explore additional sales opportunities. And on top of that, we will see later on, there's also the cross-sell opportunities that VMware is providing to you. And this, as I said, we upload the we upload opportunities 120 days in advance. Q1 2014 is already available. It has been for the past month and a half. And before the end of the year, we'll also upload Q2 2014 renewals. And with those, we will also upload cross-sell leads. So we want you to incent you to sell even more VMware licensing. So we'll go into a few things that Maria has kindly put together for us. And we do not want, and these are just some best practices on how to deal with quoting requests. Now, if you follow these rules, if you follow these tips, you will find that the renewals experience is a lot easier. A lot of you don't know about them. A lot of you do. But we'll just go over some of the top rules. And I guess Sarah Crespo will send this out. It's not in any way confidential information. We want to spread the information as much as possible. So first of all, in terms of dealing with quote requests. So the quotes can be requested by the reseller, disti, even the end user can request quotes via My VMware. and then we can have some internal people also requesting quotes. We will only provide one price in the quote, which will contain the which will then be bought by distribution. What we're looking at you to do is perform the investigative work with the customer based on that installed base report. So what we call an installed base report is effectively an entitlement account report. So it's the customer's installed base, and we would invite you to do some investigation on that in order to increase the value of the deal. Or, for example, if there's a lot of focus on VSOMs, if the customer has 5, 6, or 10 vSphere Enterprise or Enterprise Plus, they're a good candidate for VSOM. And you can find that out very easily by requesting an IB report, and immediately provide not only value for the renewal, but also upsell to a better solution, which is VSOM. When you request a quote, please provide as much information as possible. The very minimum we're requesting is the contract number, followed by instance numbers if available, then the level of support and the end date for the renewal. And the more information you provide in the ticket request, the easier it is for us to produce that quote within the SLA. Please note that the sales reps do not generate quotes, and this is something that people do not generally believe because in other companies they do. Sales reps in VMware do not generate renewals quotes. The reasons for that are multiple, not least the fact that VMware licensing is very convoluted and complex, and we need very highly trained people to create these quotes. So please either request these via Renewal Central or go to your distributor. So I have some quoting questions here. So the SLAs, some clarifying points. The SLAs for a standard request is 24 hours. So taking into account the fact that you might go to your distributor, you might be waiting a little bit longer and take into account the distributor's SLA. These are the VMware SLAs for any quote request coming from you or from distribution. We can have the tickets. When you open a quote request, you get a ticket number. That ticket can be put on hold for some reasons that we'll go into later on. One of the top ones that comes to mind is HP renewals, where we are required by an agreement with HP to get proof of the fact that the customer wants to change support from HP to VMware. If you don't provide that proof, we might put the ticket on hold. So there are several courses of action, but the bottom line is that the SLA will increase by a day. And if work from another department is involved, for example, our data team has to be involved because there are some data mistakes, that will add still to the SLA. So you might be working for an extra waiting for an extra 3 days. So the message here is that it's better to wait for a little bit more for a correct quote first time around than having to go through the process again. So if the ticket is on hold, if you have to wait maybe 1 or 2 days extra, and it's very rare, it happens to in and around between 1% and 2% of the tickets, please be patient, because there's a reason that's been put on hold, and that reason is we need to make sure it's correct. Okay. So here are some reasons the tickets go on hold. I won't go through all of them. This will be sent on to you. But I mentioned the HP, which is not even in here. There are some other reasons, for example, CSO, so we need some extra data help, and then we'll see on your right-hand side, you can see we can, HP is mentioned here. There are some actions that you can take or not take, so if that's the case, you'll see it here. No action can be taken by partners. So please go through them, make yourself familiar with them, and it will make for an easier quoting experience. So, in Renewal Central, when putting in requests, you can put in both a revision and a complaint. And there are two. There's a difference between the two. A revision is used when the customer changes their mind. They want to go from basic to production, rather than they want to take out an instance or two, or they maybe want to consolidate after they've received the first quote. A quote complaint should be used when the quote was done incorrectly. The SLA is done pretty much. The SLA is pretty much the same. The matter of fact is that we use the quote complaint section to improve on our team. So if we find out that a lot of quote complaints are coming in from a certain partner or from I don't know, from anyone really, we study that data and we make sure that the processes that are there in place, they're being followed, or you know, up until last year, we're using these to gather information on the quality of the data. So that was a good barometer to find out what was happening at the data level and to improve on that data. So just be mindful of that. Nothing you can really do here. Quoting questions, again, what's the difference between a standard and a budgetary quote? So standard quotes are what you always see in the portal, what's passed on by, you know, if you work with your distributor, you will only see your distributor quote. But in this case, sometimes when we're talking to a bigger customer, when we want to do some investigations on savings, etc., there might be a budgetary quote requested, and that is an Excel spreadsheet. It can be used to purchase, so be mindful of that. If you're using a budgetary quote for budgetary reasons, for forecasting or whatnot, you cannot use that to purchase. You'll have to go back to either your distributor or to us and get an official quote. And again, we're continuing with the quoting explanations here. When it comes to bundles, and I won't dwell on this, it's quite technical. There are some bundles that can be broken. Some products that we sell as a bundle can be broken, some of which are the ones you can see here, and some others cannot. But we will tell you that when you put in the ticket. And finally, we would like to think we're perfect, but we're obviously not, and we do make mistakes. But you can also do a double check if you want to. It's very rare. Our error rate is below 3% at this stage, and you know there's always going to be a human factor involved here. But when you do receive a quote, and if you do have an IB report, you can do some checking on your own. Some very quick checks will include the unit price that has to match with the price list. Checking the quote details in terms of the address, the expiration dates, the SKUs that you've requested. They might not be the ones that you requested, or there might be a reason for them being different. There might have been a change in the SKU, so that can still be clarified, and the quantity. So they all have to match with your request and with the IB report. We wouldn't expect you to do that. We'd like you to trust the quotes that we provide, but some partners are a bit suspicious sometimes, so feel free to double check. And finally, partial renewals. So sometimes a partner does, or rather a customer, does not want the whole renewal for either. You know, we're in very tough economic times. They might feel that the value of renewal, their whole install base, is not there. We would argue against that, of course, but that might be the case. I mean, tough economic conditions, lack of budget, you name it. We can. You will need to request a quote revision to ensure that we amend the quote to reflect only the instances that you requested. And the reason we do that, the reason we do not accept, why is this here? This is here because sometimes the customers send in a PO that's only partial, and we would push that back because the PO does not match the quote. So they have a quote for 100 licenses, they send in a PO for 50 of those licenses, and we will push back on that. So we need to make sure the quote matches the PO. So, and it's also done to motivate the customer to renew the entire contract for compliance reasons. So some of the reasons you might want to escalate a quote or escalate a situation in general are in here, and I won't go through all of them. Just mention maybe one or two. There might be out of SLA, so a quote might be late in the creation, in the coming. And in this case, what would you do? If it's a VMware delay, you can escalate to the renewal sales rep, so to Maria, to Carlos, or to Fidel. There are some cases where you might need an EU name change or a merging of companies, for example. And in that case, you'll be required to fill an LEATF, or which is a license agreement transfer form, where you can transfer the licenses from one entity to another, for example. And a lot of this can be done via the self-service portal, My VMware. So there's a lot of training online, and we would like you, given the scale of the operations of VMware, we cannot unfortunately talk to every single customer, to every single partner. So we do put in place a lot of tools for you to manage these requests efficiently. One of those is My VMware. It's worth spending a couple of words on this, because not only does My VMware allow the customer to manage their licenses, their installed base, and to request quotes, you as a partner can also be assigned as a super user in the portal in My VMware, and you can manage as a value-add service. You can manage the licenses for your customers, and that gives you a lot of flexibility and lots of leverage with the customer, because you know his install base inside out. You know how many Enterprise Plus he has deployed. You know what you can upsell. You know if he's deploying a new site, so you can sell SRM, and you name it. So there's a lot of value in being requested, or rather having access to the customer's install base. So please evaluate that with your customers. It will make their life and your life easier. And then you can see some other escalations. I won't go through them, but please have a look at them. EA numbers. So I think at the beginning of last year, I think it was May 2012, we kicked in with My VMware and with entitlement account numbers. And this is a unique account associated with a company. An entity or an individual that contains the entitlement information. It is the customer. So an EA number is a unique identifier for the customer. In My VMware, the EA is referred to as an account, and all party names and party numbers are subordinate to the EA number. So it's the highest level, if you like, of the data hierarchy in VMware. We used to be able to quote, but using the domain name, so at coca-cola.com or at Pepsi, you name it, at seat.es. We no longer do that, and the reason is because there's a lot of confusion in terms of, and this was the feedback from the customers really. They were telling us, VMware, we do not care. So Mercedes, for example, in Germany, did not care about Mercedes in Italy. You know, they were one company. They might have been the very same company, colleagues and whatnot, but what they really were interested in was managing their own install base. So we then split out these two companies. So we're giving an entitlement account for the Italian offices and an entitlement account for the German offices, the Spanish offices, etc. So when you're requesting account rather, when you're requesting reports, be mindful of that. You can look up the EA numbers in the Partner Central, and even for a Spanish company might have several EA numbers that for the same country. So if you were talking about SEAT in Spain, you might, or Inditex, they might have several EA numbers that you'll have to look up. And you can do that using the EA lookup tool in Partner Central. Yes, so as I was saying before, Partner Central, you can find the EA lookup tool. This is the link. You'll obviously need to register, and I'm hoping you all are already registered to Partner Central to get the logins. And finally, the install base reports. This is just what is the information that's included in the install base report. It contains lots of contract details. It contains the history of the products. So when we moved from VI to VS4 and to VS5, it will show you where the product is coming from and where it went to in terms of instances, because these also changed. So and also the upgrades, bundle IDs, start and end date, and sale order numbers, etc. So there's a wealth of information. Either Maria, Carlos, or Fidel, or your distributor will help you understand better. And again, going back to the tools, we're looking at VMware Renewal Central Portal here. If you do not have access to that, you can access it via Partner Central. But before doing that, you will need to register in this at this address, EMEA Portal Registration at vmware.com. Please provide your name, your email, your company ID, and your partner ID, and we will set you up within 3 working days. So, before we go on to the cross-sell, upsell, are there any preguntas for me? You can use the chat functionality if you wish. No, no questions. I'll take that as a no then. Okay, so let's move on to the cross-sell, upsell program, which is something really exciting. And so, what are we doing here? Before we go into the details, what's happening is that the renewals team is providing an extra level of value add to the renewals process. Up until now, we were, and you can see this here, what we were doing is we were just qualifying, distributing the renewals. We're working to close them with the partners and managing that renewal process, which is a very, it can be a lengthy process. There's a lot of work involved. It's almost as long as closing a new sale sometimes, almost as painful. But we do work, and we've improved a lot in the past 2 years. We have a great team in place here in Dublin, down in Cork, and deployed globally to manage this renewals process. We are building on that process, and we will be adding value to the renewals event by identifying solutions that can be sold to the customers in conjunction with the renewals. So let's move on, and what we're seeing here is that we'll be increasing the collaboration with the partners. You'll be able to leverage our team, because we will be here not working with the renewals, but also suggesting solutions that your customers can buy. And we will allow you to perform the renewals and licensing sales in one motion. So that will hopefully increase the customer satisfaction. As in, we will be positioning the new products when we're positioning the renewals in conjunction with the renewals. And we're keeping the same tools, we're keeping the same processes that we already have. The only thing that's really changing is that we will be doing lead generation effectively at point of renewal, identifying some needs of the customers that we will then pass on to you as a partner, and which will hopefully lead to a new sale. So what are the benefits for the partners? Increased margin and license sales. So we did a pilot in EMEA last year and in the States this year, starting in March. We found out that the partners involved grew their sales up to 3 times with new license sales. The win rates went up by 150%, and they had a higher likelihood of booking larger deals more frequently, meaning we were bundling the renewals, we were bundling also products like Site Recovery Manager, like VSOM, like upgrades even, and that created larger deals on average for the partner, and they also sold their consulting services with those products. And finally, they were able to get greater margins, up to 35%, because all the Advantage Plus solution rewards that you normally have and deal with when talking about new sales are still there for you to take advantage of. It's a competitive differentiator, if you like, for you as a partner. We have predictive analytics that provide tailored recommendations based on prior purchases, and what this means is that we study the customer's installed base. This is all done by big data tools, and and a little bit like if you think about what Amazon does when if any of you have an Amazon account, when you go into the website, they know your previous purchasing history, they know other clients who have bought what you have bought, and they're able to come up with suggestions that more often than not you do like, you do appreciate. I'm quite interested in politics, international relations, and my previous purchases would have been in that area, a little bit of history, politics, economics. And when I do log into Amazon, I get great recommendations that I end up buying quite often. And that's what we're doing here with this program. We're providing you with predictive analytics that can provide tailored recommendations to your customers, and it's statistically proven they're more likely to buy these products than when we're dealing with cold calling. So, moving on, enhanced sales capabilities. It's easy to access these recommendations. They're in the Renewal Central. They're uploaded automatically. We will soon be implementing a lead generation document, which you will be able to leverage to your advantage. So we'll be effectively sending out more detailed information from the reps to you, and you will be able to perform the renewal, the new license sales in one motion. So you'll be able to take advantage of these things. Overall, we will have an increased collaboration with VMware. There's some expectations in terms of we have some expectations. We're providing you with these leads. We would expect you to follow up on these leads, to further qualify them, and to assign a point of contact for Maria and Carlos to follow up with when dealing with this cross-sell program. So in order to take advantage of these capabilities, you need to do a few simple things. First of all, as I mentioned earlier, to collaborate with the renewals team to define how you will follow up on these. And this is a one-to-one conversation where you will have with the reps. We don't want to dictate how you run the business. We don't want to impose anything on you. So I think it's what we're only asking for is to identify team members to participate in this program. So if you're interested in following up with these leads, you'll let Carlos know that one of your employees will be following up on these, so he has one point of contact to keep the information flowing. We will not close the deals. We will just create the lead and pass it on to you as a partner. and it's up to you to close that deal. You can, yeah, that's it really. So you can access Renewal Central here. Once let's talk a little bit about managing your opportunities, and in a little bit more detail. And I think you know, the beauty of the program is in keeping it simple, because we'll be using the same processes and the same tools as a new license sales opportunity. And you can still be able to register the deal in Advantage Plus, but this is a point that I would like to underline. We need you to select the opportunity source as a cross-sell, upsell. This is down to you. So when you go into Renewal Central, you see an opportunity, or if Carlos calls you and says, guys, I have a lead for you, the customer XYZ is having problems, he doesn't know, you know, how many VMs he has, you know, he's all over the shop, he needs VSOM, for example. When registering the deal, if it applies for Advantage Plus, please select cross-sell and upsell flag. And then the process stays the same. So you will get the quotation from your distributor. You will communicate the opportunity status to VMware Renewals team. So we will call, Carlos and Maria will call you from time to time to follow up on those leads, hoping that they'll have progressed, or if they're lost, and we'll move on. But we will need some information, so Carlos and Maria and Fidel will be in touch with you. And again, we said this already. You can take advantage of, or rather, enjoy the benefits of Advantage Plus and Solution Rewards. And I have a question here. So let's see. Alejandro is asking me: Is it not possible to renew support with less CPUs than in the contract? It's a good question, and we can. So if a contract contains less, if you don't want to renew all instances within a contract, you can renew less. You will have potentially issues with your supports. So I have to advise you that if you renew less, if you have 10 CPUs, you only renew 5, you will be uncovered for the other 5 CPUs. We don't want that to happen. We want the customer to be compliant and under support. You would also be opening up the customer to potential compliance audits. So the answer is yes, you don't have to be under support, but you might have consequences in terms of managing those licenses. So moving on from this, and we mentioned before the deal registration. Please select the VMware cross-sell upsell recommendation, so we can track these accordingly, and then you can get your quotation and get on with your business. So in terms of next steps, what's the call to action here? What would I like you to do when you all go back to your desks or all go back to your daily jobs? First of all, I'd like you to share this presentation with your company. We need everybody in the channel. We're 100%. The general business is the SMB sector in VMware. What we call general business is 100% channel focused. We need you to share these slides, share this information with your team. We also need you to coordinate and assign a resource to manage the cross-sell, upsell opportunities. And it could be a sales manager, it could be a sales rep. It doesn't really matter. What we really need is a point of contact that Carlos and Maria and Fidel can follow up with when sending these leads. We hope to create a lot of business with this new program. We know the customer. We know the customer's installed base. We can make effective recommendations. We can close more business together. We need somebody dedicated that we can call to follow up on with this new business. And before I move on to the renewals initiative, do we have any further questions? Any questions on the cross-sell? Feel free to use the chat functionality. Even in Spanish, we can translate, no problem.
Si tenéis alguna pregunta podéis hacerlo a través del chat y os enviaremos de todos modos la presentación por si acaso necesitáis revisar algún detalle, que estaremos a vuestra disposición para poder hacer preguntas. But Giovanni, I think no questions. You can continue.
Unfortunately, okay, that's fine. Look, everything is super clear, and your level of English is amazing. Thank God. Okay. Okay, so let's keep going. And let's talk, and I bet I'll get some questions on this one. Let's talk about the Partner Renewals Initiative, which is about rewarding top performers. And let's have a look at this. There are 3 priorities that we're looking into, and let's give you a little bit of background on this before we go into the detail. Up until maybe last year, VMware had a lot of problems. If you go back 2 or 3 years, the renewals business in VMware was not top-notch. It was not anywhere near where we wanted it to be. We had data problems. We were late with quotes. We had a lot of issues, and we compensated for those issues by, giving out discounts, and we had a lot of issues. Let's put it this way: we had a lot of issues, and we could not think forward. We could not focus on priorities for the next 3 months. We were always chasing problems. That situation is in the past now. VMware invested several $1 million in the past 2. In fact, more money this year and last year than in the previous 10 years combined into renewals. So we invested a significant amount of millions of dollars into improving our systems. And we're at a stage now where our systems are up to date, where the SLA to get a quote is below 24 hours. I said 24 hours earlier on. If you go into your Renewal Central database, you will see that effectively that's around 19 hours now. And by the end of next year, we're planning to bring it down further. So we're in a good spot. We've invested a lot of money. We've improved the situation. And we're taking away any excuses for dealing with your renewals. And what we want to do now, what we want to do is to differentiate between partners. And a lot of you have invested time and money into the renewals. We want to reward you. Some other people and companies do not, have not invested as much. They don't perform that well. We want to hold them accountable. So what we're trying to do here is we have 3 priorities. This initiative is simple and scalable. So we're introducing partner differentiation. The feedback was from some resellers we heard, like, I'm investing time, I have resources dedicated to renewals, but I have the same discount as all other people's, I have the same opportunities. Why are you not rewarding me? Give me something more. So this is what we want to do here. We want to give you something more. And we will be measuring your performance with some specific metrics. And we will leverage the existing tools and the metrics that we've always used in the past 2 or 3 years. The benefits will be tangible. The rewards, there will be rewards for the top performers, and we will reward you with new opportunities. So there are some OEMs, and I'm thinking about IBM, some vendors that sell or resell our products that cannot renew the support on them. So if IBM ships out ships out a server or one of their products and they have VMware licenses on them, they cannot renew those licenses. So these OEM licenses do not have, renewals do not have an owner. We will be providing some of our top partners with this data so that they can pursue extra venues of revenue, extra ways of making money, and gain new clients. At the same time, we'll hold those who are not performing so well accountable, which means you have to take responsibility for your customers and for VMware's customers. So we have expectations against the execution of the renewal, and if you don't perform well, you could see your business go elsewhere, be exposed to other resellers, and the other resellers will be the top performers. So yeah, in a nutshell, this is what it is. And let's look at more details. So the performance tiers. So how are you being measured? There will be 3 performance tiers, 3 performance levels: high, performing, and low. These are based on 7 regional specific benchmarks. So we're not measuring German performance versus Spanish performance because it's or Norwegian performance against Spanish performance, because that would not be fair. We're measuring Spanish performance with Italian performance, Greek performance. It's regional. The methodology. So we'll be offering rewards in the form of renewal opportunities to these high-performing partners, and we'll hold the low performers more accountable. The performance criteria. So we'll be looking at a specific metric called in-quarter contract renewal rate. Now, heads up, everybody, you can find this renewal rate in Renewals Central. It's in the first page of Renewals Central, so you can track your business. This is measured against your incumbent business. It's measured against your existing clients. So we will say, okay, Mr. Reseller, you have 50 contracts for $100,000. We will measure you on the renewal amount, so that $100,000, how much of that do you close? If you close 25 contracts for $45,000, that will be a 45% in-quarter renewal rate. And it's valid quarter over quarter, so you have to renew your existing customers' contracts within the quarter of expiration. We will not be including partners with fewer than 10 opportunities because it wouldn't be fair. So anyone with more than 10 customers, 10 contracts rather, so my apologies, 10 contracts in expiration by quarter will be put into this program. In terms of cadence, this will be a quarterly process. You will, I think, some or most of you would have received an email from David Woodward, our Global Support and Subscription Director, Renewals Director. So you'd be aware of the fact that you're either performing, high performing, or low performing. And in terms of visibility, as I said before, you can check out Renewal Central, and that will give you a good idea as to where you stand in terms of in-quarter contract renewal rate. Any partners will be contacted directly by email via David Woodward. Let's look at the benchmarks here. So we have the high performing and the low. Any high performing resellers achieve at least 80% in quarter contract renewal rate, or they are, if no one achieves more than 80%, you'll be in the top 10% of your region. So if you look at the Southern EMEA, it'd be very rare for people to have an in-quarter renewal rate of 80%. So we might be looking at the top 10% by region. The performing resellers partner achieve between 40 and 80% in quarter renewal rate. And then low performing partners are those that achieve less than 40% or fall in the bottom 10% by region. So these are the metrics. So before we move on to the call to actions, does anyone have any questions on the Partner Renewals Initiative? Anyone? Seems that I'm a great presenter today. No questions? Okay. Let's move on. So the call to action. So what do we expect you to do after this call? First of all, look at your on-time renewals. When I say on-time, I mean in-quarter renewals. So those that are expiring in Q4, and that renew your in-quarter renewals. Renew your customers that have an expiration within Q4. Make sure it's more than 40%, so that you don't fall into the non-performing tier of the Partner Renewals Initiative, and also, or rather, try to bring it up to the top 10%, where you can really get more opportunities from other partners and from the OEMs, from IBM or from other OEMs. Manage your renewals in VMware Renewal Central. If you don't have a login, you can request it. Leverage the renewals to position new products. We have that data we've done that work for you. It's in Renewal Central. For each customer in the general business section, the SMB, we have between 1 and 3 leads. All you have to do is ask a few simple questions to the customer. We have talking points where we explain why we chose a specific customer for a specific solution. So you can go in there, there's lots of information, so please go into Renewal Central and understand what your opportunities are. Track your in-quarter renewal rate, I said that already. And then share the cross-sell and upsell trainings across your organization. So I shared these slides with your managers, with your sales reps, with your sales force, and spread the knowledge. There's a lot of money to be made if we attach new leads to renewals. Okay. So I have a lot of calls to action, but I'll send you the slide, and you can look at them at your own pace. And with that, I am done and bang on time with a couple of minutes left for questions.
Perfect timing, Giovanni.
I train a lot for this.
I know it. ¿Alguien tiene alguna pregunta? Si queréis en castellano intento traducírsela a Giovanni o a través del chat.
Nada. Nada? No? Okay, we have a very shy audience today.
It's complicated for us in English, Giovanni, but in any case, de cualquier manera, vamos a enviar la presentación. Giovanni, you don't mind to be sending the presentation, really?
No, please.
Okay.
And, if they want to ask questions in Spanish now, if they didn't understand something, that's fine. We can, I understand a little bit of Spanish, but I can't speak it. But you can definitely help me translate.
Okay, no worries. So, estaremos enviando la presentación durante el día de hoy. Si queréis revisarla o hacer alguna pregunta, no tenéis nuestros contactos, nos conocéis de sobra, tanto al equipo de Vmware como al equipo de Afina de Renovaciones, a María, a Carlos y a Fidel, o por nuestra parte con Nuria, con Arantxa o conmigo, no dudéis en preguntarnos, incluso con Álvaro o Fernando Curvelo para la parte de upsell y cross-sell. So by my side, Giovanni, I think it's okay because any guy wants to make any question.
Okay.
So thanks a lot for supporting us, and it has been very interesting for us. Sorry for the inconvenience about Maria's illness, but
I know, it's fine. She'll be well soon, and if you want to run another session in Spanish, she can do it.
we will try to fix a date in early December or something like this.
Yeah, that's great. Cool.
Okay.
Okay, doke.
So, it's done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Gracias.
everybody.
Muchas gracias a todos por asistir y lo dicho, os enviamos la presentación durante el día de hoy. Gracias.